Okay, here we go. We are at the ETHR weekly sync meetup, and this will be shared on YouTube. So we're just going to go through some of the housekeeping items and maybe do some strategy for how we move forward with some of the how to do better onboarding. What are kind of some of the lessons we've learned in the first week that the DAO's been up and running. I participated in the One Hive weekly call a few days ago. So I was able to talk with Will Griff, I believe, who is one of the main developers for One Hive. And they are, the issue that they mentioned that they're having with the honey token is that they have too limited of a supply. And each honey is like, I don't know, a couple $100. So they're having a unit bias problem. So I think we're going to eventually have to consider, well, I mean, yeah, we're definitely going to have to like work through some tokenomics stuff. So as I mentioned, on Monday, I've organized a call with one of the tokenomics guys from One Hive. So if anybody wants to dive deeper into the tokenomics options, that would be a good call to participate in. And another thing that we're going to have to probably start making some moves on is the Gnosis Safe integration. So I put up a proposal earlier about transferring the prdao.eth name, ENS name, to the DAO, but apparently ENS is not supported on XDAI Gnosis chain. So we could have the Gnosis Safe on mainnet have that ENS name, if that makes sense. And also, we have, I think, Alex, I like that you use the One Hive like forum to post the kind of like some of our DAO stuff, our DAO proposals, because we get other people from One Hive who see it and can like chime in with some more insight.
Okay. I had a question about that because the proposals requires a forum post, and we set up with the default forum, which goes to One Hive. So every proposal will need to be linked to a forum post in the One Hive. So that's the case currently. I guess, do we want to have like a custom forum set up, or I mean, the default is using the One Hive, so that's current situation.
Yeah, I think we're still in bootstrapping mode. So like whatever we don't have to build yet, whatever we can use that's already available, I think is going to help us like evolve quicker, so that when we do have a little bit more of like more activity, then it will become more important to start building out some of our own stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything else they want to mention?
No, nothing else. Like to do some quick onboarding if we have like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe however long it takes, but to get people onto the garden and make sure we're all set up with XDAI and whatever else is needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do a screen share, or do you have an idea for how you want to do that?
Yeah, I could do a screen share. So it should be pretty simple. So everyone, I'm assuming, set up with like a browser wallet, like a MetaMask on Ethereum. So what we can do, if you want to go to app.agave.finance, it makes it easy for you to set up, get set up on XDAI. So like it'll automatically switch you to XDAI if you're on Ethereum. Like for example, if I'm on a separate chain, I don't know, if I'm on like Polygon, for example, it'll say, do you want to switch your site? And it's automatically going to switch you to XDAI. It'll add all of that information. You don't have to go through like the manual process and all of that. So once you're set up on XDAI, you can go to the garden. This is the link. and you should be able to see everything. I guess when you first connect, you're going to have to sign the covenant, which is right here. And that's just like one transaction. And it should be pretty straightforward. But let me know if you guys have any difficulty. And once you sign the covenant, you should be able to interact with certain functions. Like you should be able to go to a proposal, and you should be able to like vote on a proposal. If you want to create a proposal, a couple things you need to stake. I think it's 50 Rico tokens. You see, or you have to deposit. So in order to create this proposal, I had to deposit 50 Rico tokens. And then you also have to link, you have to create a forum post in the One Hive. This is the default forum. So those are the two things. Getting onto the garden, signing the covenant, and then interacting with.
And it should be important to note that this is not, it's not like a binding vote. So we're just signaling support for a proposal, and the proposal stays there until it's removed by the original poster. And as long as the post is up, the proposal is up, then the Rico tokens are locked in that proposal. And people can leave. If you're a voter and you're supporting it, then that support will grow over time through the conviction voting mechanism. And if you don't want to support, because I mean, people only have a certain amount of tokens. So let's say you only have 100 tokens and you put 50 towards this proposal, and then there's another proposal that comes out that you want to support even more, then you might take away your support and then put your support behind others. So it's really interesting to see these like tokenomics governance mechanisms like play out in real time, because you start to see how like people are having to make like a lot of a lot of trade-offs between the different proposals. So it's, I wonder like if this is you know, let's say that this is a very active DAO, you know, there's multiple proposals a week. It's going to be very interesting to see like how much engagement we get. So that's what I think about is how do people get updates, and how do they stay engaged, and what keeps them coming back to continue to like support the DAO.
Agreed. For example, here I'm supporting with 900 Rico, and Antonio supporting with 100 Rico. So I can't send those tokens anywhere. They're kind of locked in here until it passes, or until it's challenged, or or until I remove my support. For example, I could. Well,
it's I think in we can continue on with the onboarding, but we still need to kind of figure out. Do you want to go click on the proposal so that we can see some of the questions that you wrote down?
Yeah. Maybe we can move on to that in a second. I just want to check if people have any questions about onboarding. That's pretty much it. It should be pretty easy to get set up. So any questions, or was anything not clear?
I'm curious if we do oh wait, Jonathan, do you have okay. If there's a funding request, we still haven't done that yet. So I'm kind of curious to see how that works. If somebody wants to host a meetup, or wants to organize the weekly meetup, the weekly call, we can dish out some Rico from the common pool, but we don't really have that much inside the common pool. And I'm not sure if we need to get like some type of threshold support on a vote. So maybe that's our next experiment to run this week, is to do some type of funding proposal.
Yep, I agree. But onboarding, any questions about that? Were you guys able to join and sign the covenant?
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm running a little bit late. I just got home, so I'm at my computer now, so I can try joining the covenant.
Okay. And Jonathan, I sent you XDAI, so you should be able to make transactions. Should be. I don't think you'll need anything. You should have 1 XDAI and like 1,000 Rico, so that should be everything you need to get started.
Great, thank you. I'll take a look into it.
Great. Okay, well, that's all for the onboarding. I guess we can move on to the proposal, Antonio. So talking about the recurring meetings proposal, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we had some discussions. What time is best? It seems like noon is not going to be a good time for Reuven, and perhaps 2 p.m. is a better time. So what do people think about that? Should we solidify that?
I think that sounds good. It's not too late for Europe, and people on the west coast of the US can also join in.
Works for me.
I think that's a good time frame.
Julia, does that work for you? 2 p.m. Wednesdays?
Yeah, it looks like that should be fine for me.
Okay.
But yeah, there was that Rick who I met with yesterday. Like I mentioned, he's not able to meet afternoon, and I really think he would have a lot of value to bring to the group.
You can only do mornings?
Yeah, he works. He's got like a project that he's working on from noon to 5 every day, so he could do mornings.
I wonder. Well, yeah. I mean, if it's, I wonder if there's ever going to be a perfect time for everybody. Is he able to join into the ETHR core WhatsApp group?
I just sent him the link like 15 minutes ago when he sent it to me.
Okay. Does it make sense to do this on a weekend, or would that be kind of like a buzzkill?
I'd rather do during the week. Personally.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think we can have this as like, we just need to get something on the calendar so that people can start to plan around it. I would love to have Rick's input and contribution. But I think there's different ways to do that, because we can, everything's async. And we can record these meetings and put these online so that people can, stay up to speed. But I think a lot of the action is going to be on the forum and on the chat group.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for us to have at least a meeting with him just to answer, like, because he's got so much experience that he was asking me questions that I was like, that's a great question. I have no idea, and he knows all the right questions to ask and like where we should be looking and focusing and thinking about. So even if we just have a one-off meeting before noon any day, I think it would be really valuable.
Well, would 11 a.m. be too early?
I mean, it's 11 a.m. is fine for me. Does mornings not work for people?
Works for me. Once a week, I can make it work. Is this like, are we proposing a one-off meeting with Rick?
Do a, okay, so here's what I'm thinking is going to happen next is we're going to be able to kind of test out a lot of the features here internally over the next week or two. And then we're going to be ready to kind of start doing a broader onboarding / airdrop. So maybe if we want to have Rick maybe help us understand or organize the next, like, we have 10 people now. So what does it look like to get to 100 people? And throughout all of the meetup mailing lists, like ideally we can airdrop, say 100 tokens, 100 Rico tokens to people who sign up for the airdrop, who've already been involved in the community. And so that's kind of where my mind's at for the next phase of growth, as well as getting a couple more meetup organizers, like fully functional within the DAO. And then the third thing is like looking at what is the next phase of tokenomics growth look like. So I think next Monday's meeting we'll have some insights. And yeah, I think that's pretty much like where my head's at.
Yeah, that sounds fine. So, well, sorry, could we just nail down the timing then? If we want to do a one-off meeting with Rick in the mornings, one of these mornings, and then I think it's fine if we just have our regular meetings in the afternoon, if you guys want to do that, if that's better for everyone.
Yeah, I like the sound of that, and we can get Rick inside the WhatsApp group and get him. I've been sending out like 50 Rico tokens just to like people who raise their hands who want to do event organizing, and I would like to see how that looks through like a legit funding proposal. So do we want to maybe, let's see, execute bounty to create some Google Calendar? Should I do that? Maybe I can do that.
Yeah, why don't you make a proposal to send 100 Rico tokens to your address, and if you could set up those recurring meetings, that would be great. I think, do we have everyone's email?
No, we have. We still need to get a few.
Yeah, I'm looking at the doc. The last 4 looks like we're missing.
You know, it's also interesting how some people have done kind of like an elevated airdrop. So you have to do like a series of small tasks to unlock the airdrop, and each task is slightly more complicated. So if like 1 is getting XDAI, 2 is signing the covenant, 3 is voting on a proposal, 4 is creating a proposal, 5 is, you know, attending an event, donating to like, I feel like that's going to be something we're going to have to like have elevated onboarding. That makes any sense.
So like airdropping for, well, let's maybe save airdrops for another meeting, or perhaps create a proposal for specifically for airdrops. So let's continue on here. Try to wrap this up. So a couple points, possibly making it token gated, but possibly that's a discussion for the future. You know, how can we enforce that? So selecting the time of day, I guess 2 p.m. Wednesdays, at least for now, seems to be time that works for most people. And then target duration 60 minutes. How does that sound for everyone? Try to keep meetings to 60 minutes. You know, if we want to overflow, you know, perhaps we can go over as needed, but is 60 minutes a good target for everybody?
That looks good.
Okay. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about transparency. We had a lot of discussions in like the ETHR chat about DAOs. What are some of the good things? What are some of the bad things? And I feel like maybe transparency might be a really important aspect of it. Like, do people really feel like, you know, people who are making decisions, like, is there transparency and is there a representation of, you know, of people's interests? So how can we address those concerns? And, you know, what does that look like? So I thought like maybe like taking meeting notes, you know, with who attended it, and then some of the major decisions or proposals that were discussed, and, you know, recordings like we're doing now. These are some perhaps suggestions on how we can address those concerns. Other people have thoughts on that?
I can jump in and say that now that we have the governance forum, we can use the forum, right, and the tools to, you know, essentially have a more transparent decision-making process. But we ran into similar issues with the NFT Puerto Rico DAO group, and to be honest, man, even with like taking meeting notes and publishing them on a Google Doc, Google Drive, and having open meetings and everything like that doesn't suffice. People are still not uncomfortable, but they feel like they need more. They feel like they need something more. Publishing the meeting notes and having an open meeting apparently isn't enough for some people.
Interesting. So it's definitely a concern that we need to address. Any ideas? Like what would be enough?
Bueno, the garden. I mean, but yeah, that's just. I guess we're already there. So
I think we just gotta get more people engaged, because I think if we're going to be recording the meetings, that should suffice at least for the compliance point of view. And if people are not getting engaged, they're not going anywhere. Basically, they're just waiting for us to give them everything that they want to hear. So that they're not doing any research or anything like that. I think that's going to be like a 50-50 work with the people that we're targeting and with our team as well.
Good.
Yeah, I think, what do people care about? Like, if the proposals and the stuff that's happening in the DAO doesn't really like concern them, then no amount of communication will like really pull them in. So I think understanding like what people's wants, needs, and desires are for like how they want to, like where they want to see the group go, what they want to see happen. So maybe having like better survey, or like maybe encouraging people to speak up more. In some of I feel like our group chats are dominated by just like a few people until like an interesting topic comes up and then somebody like chimes in who never has before.
Yeah, we definitely saw that, I think, with some of the DAO discussions, which I found really interesting. Some people are really, maybe few people are very anti-DAO, and some people are really supportive of DAO. So it's really good to see that. And I think just like any kind of discussion, it's great for, pushing forward on what we're trying to do. So, okay. So those are just some things to kind of think about, I guess, as we're having our recurring meetings. But how does this look for everyone? Wednesdays, 2 p.m., at least for now, at least to begin. And we're going to target 60 minutes. Are we agreed that we should try to keep meeting notes and like post that in a place that's accessible to people? Like, how do we feel about that? Do we agree?
Yeah, I think we have the forum, we have the recorded weekly sync notes, we have the core member chat group. I think between those three things, like it's really good for now. I don't know what else we would. What do we have here?
So, I mean, I guess that's the proposal. That's pretty much it.
So I had a question just about general operationality or functionality governance. Usually core, groups are elected. And I guess the concern, like one of the concerns that one of the members was expressing was about accountability. And so usually election is what ensures accountability, that the people who are managing and doing are doing what they say they're going to do. And like if the community votes for something, ensuring that the person who's responsible for executing it does execute it, because otherwise they're at risk of being removed. So is that something that the group has discussed in terms of accountability? And, it seems like we've all just sort of organically become the core group, but are we the right people to be in the core group? Or are there other people that should be in the core group? Or should people, have you discussed elections or something similar? And again, I don't know if this is like a typical thing for DAOs or not, but I was just wondering if you guys had thoughts along those lines.
I think you can delegate your tokens to somebody else to act as kind of like to act on your behalf. But in terms of voting for representative, I'm not sure about that.
So like, or what is, because the person was expressing concern about accountability of not following proposals that are voted to pass, and then the people who are responsible for making them happen, bringing them to life, holding them accountable.
Okay, I see now. I see. So if somebody says, please send me however many tokens to do this event or task, but it doesn't get done, then yeah, what is like the repercussion, right?
Yeah, or what's the if the community votes that proposal should be awarded tokens, and then no one in the core group issues that person tokens, like what's the accountability then of the core group of following through on that proposal funding? That's my question. Yeah,
that's a really big problem. If we don't if the community votes on a proposal and then we don't execute it, that's a serious problem. It's almost like is this even a functioning organization, right?
Right. So what mechanisms are in place to ensure that accountability of us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I don't necessarily know if we have an answer at this point. Perhaps we should go through and try to execute some proposals and see how can we really ensure that they do be executed, especially going through like funding proposals, right? That's probably one of the biggest concerns if you execute a funding proposal, but then the funds aren't executed. So I would suggest we go through and try to make some proposals just as like kind of going through the motions, and then just keep in mind, like, how can we really enforce that they do become executed? Because if they don't, then we definitely have a problem with, people lose confidence completely. So that's definitely important.
I'm going to say hello.
Hello.
Hey, Alex, good to see you here.
Good.
So I've been doing worker proposals since 6 years ago with BitShares, just to mention that out there. I know what some of the solutions are, but I don't know exactly what we're capable in our current framework. But as far as proposals, usually you vote on that, and then there's a certain allocated funds, but then you don't pay out those funds until the end necessarily, or you can do it in stages when they need funding. So there's different ways to do accountability. I think we'll figure that out over time. And I definitely agree with voting people in and out. As far as the delegation of votes, I'm not entirely sure, but that's my history is delegated proof of stake, which is BitShares, Steam, and EOS. So I have lots of knowledge in that space.
Cool. So yeah, I guess definitely to keep that in mind as we go along. Should we try with passing a proposal? One concern I have is currently, we're at 1%. Do we have enough tokens to get this?
Ooh, who's the third supporter?
I see. Let's see. So Jose and VG, at the start of the meeting, we went over quickly onboarding. So if you have any difficulty getting onto the garden, let's try to address that now really quickly. Let's see. So we have a new supporter. That's good. Yeah, so Jose, were you able to get onto the garden? I really quickly, I showed if you have difficulty connecting to XDAI, you can go to app.agave.finance. They make it easy to connect to XDAI. And go to the garden. You're going to have to sign the covenant before you can interact with like some of the functions. So that's basically the gist of it.
I think I did something wrong. So I signed the covenant, and then it was asking me to make a proposal, and then it was asking me to commit my Rico. So I agreed to all that. I committed to all my Rico. Maybe that wasn't the right thing to do, because now when I go to support the proposal, I can't. It says that the currently connected account does not hold any Rico. Not participate in this proposal.
You went all in on one proposal, and now
you can remove the support.
Okay.
Or you can I don't know if it's you have to unstake all of the support, or you can unstake some of it. Okay. Do you want to maybe take a look, Alex, and see if you can play around with your 900 Rico delegation?
So I can try that. Julia, you created a proposal? Because I don't see it.
I don't know. After I sent the covenant, it took me to another pop-up that said create proposals. Okay, I'll just click the next button I see. So I clicked that button, and then I just kept clicking buttons. I mean,
Something like this.
I didn't know what they meant and explain what they meant.
Maybe you have, yeah, maybe it's in the deposit manager.
Okay, so I only committed 50 Rico to this proposal. So, but let's see. I can change my support. So I committed 900 Rico. I can change my support, for example. So I can withdraw those 900. But Julie, if you want to share your screen, we can help you figure out what's going on. But I think as one concern I have is I don't know if we can get this proposal passed. Can we get a single proposal passed? That's my number one concern at the moment. So
Yeah, I'd like to understand what the criteria are and what we need to have that passed, so we have the proper delegate the proper tokens so we can vote things. I'm still learning myself, as we all are. I did sign the covenant, but I haven't done a proposal yet.
So I don't know where my Rico went.
So,
well, it's either in your wallet or staked, most likely, one or two. So it might be back in your wallet.
Yeah, how much do you have in your wallet?
It says balance 0.
Oh.
What about the Ethereum wallet on the blockchain itself?
It should match it.
Can you click on the deposit manager?
Available Rico 1,000.
Okay.
Oh, try to withdraw. Can you withdraw?
What is the deposit manager?
I think the deposit manager is if you want to create a proposal, you put it in the deposit manager. So what you should probably do is maybe put 50 or 100 into the deposit manager. And then from there, you can use those funds to create proposals. But if the funds are in the deposit manager, they cannot be used for supporting voting. So it's not clear that if you put it in the deposit manager, you can't vote.
Yeah, I know for sure you need at least 50 to create a proposal. I don't know if you need to lock anything in order to vote, but voting requires you to lock it as support.
We need to get somebody on the meme payroll to like make the memes on how to do this.
And yeah, so like, how do I think of the deposit manager with like versus staking versus voting?
Yeah, the deposit manager is the funds that you need to create proposals. Now, currently, you just have your funds available outside of the deposit manager, so that you can now vote on this proposal.
Okay, so would it be better named the proposal manager? I'm just trying to understand what it is and what it isn't.
I think
well, yeah, the true DAO cannot be spoken, so.
Understood. Welcome, Jose.
So, Jose, were you able to use the garden, sign the covenant?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Okay. I was not signed.
Kind of breaking up. I got you were not able to something.
Julia, do you want to go back one page and there was a button that said delegate? Do you want to maybe click on that just to see what that does?
Is it this slow for everybody?
Yeah, it is for me.
I feel like grass grows quicker than this.
It does.
Antonio, another thing about the conviction voting, what you said makes sense, but I haven't noticed the support going up over time. It should go up exponentially every 2 days. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think okay, so this is a good question because who has access to the parameters? So I don't know if, okay, Julia, go scroll down a little bit. Scroll down. There it is, delegate voting. So this kind of goes to your question before of if people who have, like what we're dealing with is reputation. So if you create a proposal, you get paid out, but you don't deliver, then obviously your reputation would go down. So maybe there's a way for people to delegate voting for people with higher reputation, but we don't really have a good reputation scorecard in this framework. And did the delegate voting button not work?
I clicked it. Clicked it again.
Okay. Maybe it's in development. Okay, well, that'll be in the next release, I guess. But Alex, can you check the settings to see what that conviction voting parameter is?
Let me try. So if I go to settings, it doesn't really say a lot, but I do know I set it to the default settings for the conviction voting, so it should be at I think it was like 2 days, but I can't see details anywhere about like those parameters. So maybe it's something to ask on Monday. I don't know if that's related.
Yeah, I think it's something where we have to maybe do a smart contract push, like do like a hard code update to that. But it would be nice if to have a little bit more velocity on the conviction voting, so that if it's 3 days a week, you're getting exponential growth. But then again, all the proposals are non-binding except for the funding, so it's kind of like 1% is actually like pretty good. So maybe we need to make that explicit or have some type of like goalposts to know when the proposal has passed enough support.
Well, we need 50%, correct?
No, I think 50% is for the challenge.
Okay. So when does it, how does it pass, I guess?
Well, it doesn't, the proposals never pass, they're just signaling. So there's nothing binding the proposal. The only thing that's binding is the funding. So that's what we have to try next. So there will trigger a funding payout if enough support is met. And that's kind of the goalpost that I don't really know where that is.
So why don't we try that out for over the next week? Antonio, if you want to give that a shot, perhaps.
Yeah, I'll do the funding proposal. VG, if you want to go ahead and see if you can't organize a meetup in Miramar or in San Juan, wherever, just it could be like a casual happy hour. I think we can maybe and improve the content for the events down the line. If we want to have more of like a DAO town hall kind of thing in person, maybe because I feel like there's a lot of really smart people on the island who are doing really cool projects that I'd like to give more of a platform to. And that's kind of one of the inspirations for getting this DAO together is to kind of organize that a little bit better. So if you know any people specifically who would want to maybe talk at a in-person meetup in San Juan, or if Alex, you want to go ahead and do a Southwest Puerto Rico meetup, I think we can start to organize some of these like in-person meetups on Meetup and start to like kind of use the platform a little bit more.
Yeah, I have space available for small meetups. I believe Jose is nearby, Julia. We can figure out who else is nearby that would be interested. I don't know who else off the top of my head. I'll definitely think about it.
Well, if we have the meetup, we have the meetup channels, so there could be a lot of people to show up, unless you have like a limited amount of seating available. Then
Yeah.
we would also need to discuss what does like membership look like. So Alex, I think you wrote something down about like a bullet point on about membership fees, something like that.
Defining like a core member, how many tokens do you need to be a core member?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, my own space was limited by 10 people by the lease, but we can find a location for people to show up. But if we do smaller stuff, I can host.
Did you go to the meetup at what was the name of that tavern in Old San Juan? Where the first meetup was at?
Yes, that was a few months ago.
Lúpulo.
Yeah. The owner there is very kind and nice and ETH positive. So if it was on a weekday, it would be easy to just tell people to meet up there, and it could be a casual happy hour.
Yeah, I think there's numerous places we can reach out to like that. We'll figure that out.
By February 1st or 2nd, so.
So I have another logistical question. So if someone does a funding proposal to host a meetup, how does that Rico that they receive translate into like paying for pizza or drinks logistically?
Currently, it doesn't.
Because I think it's more of a pay at the bar for now. I think if we were to have some type of member dues, then with the Gnosis safe, with like ETH, DAI, whatever, that could solve the long-term problem of like paying out actual like salary or like harder money. But right now, I think it's just about like saying, hey, we're meeting up at this place. It's like buy your own drinks kind of thing.
Yeah, currently, like, we don't have enough money, I guess. Like, we need to pump the token price before we can actually like send out like a significant value of tokens.
Securities law by saying pump.
That's funny.
Well,
Yeah, don't say pump. Don't say pump.
the total value of the token is not substantial enough to actually send out a reasonable amount of money to fund anything currently. But once we get enough support, we'll be able to send out like a meaningful amount of tokens. But
doing things.
I think it goes.
Sorry, what?
Antonio, you want to say something?
Didn't get that. Antonio?
Right now, people are doing things to earn more governance power. And right now, people are hosting meetups, not necessarily getting paid cash to host the meetup, they're getting paid in governance tokens.
Antonio, you're like muffled, or is it me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
I think AirPods are better.
Is that better? Does that better?
Now we can hear you.
Okay.
Now we can hear you.
Okay.
Crystal clear.
My point being is that people are intrinsically motivated right now, and their reward is governance power, voting power. So by doing tasks, they're earning more clout, more pool, more power within the DAO. And once we have a little bit more of a solid foundation, maybe we have the Gnosis safe, there's more perceived value in the Puerto Rico DAO, then we can start to see an appreciation in the price of the Rico token. We can expand the supply, and then it maybe becomes more of like a medium of exchange as opposed to just a governance token. But right now, if we can organize meetups where we don't have to pay for the location or the venue, that would be ideal. If we can also even find sponsors. And we have Cesar's co-working space. Is that still available, Jose? We can just crash that place. Either way, I think we don't have to worry so much. Like ideally, people don't have to pay anything out of pocket right now for events, and then yeah, eventually once we have a little bit bigger treasury, we can start paying people in harder cash.
Hey, can you guys hear me? Can I jump in here for real quick?
Yep.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So first of all, like going back to what Ted mentioned the day we organized the DAO. Oh my God. Was that basically like we're also like this is also like a liquidity issue, like just putting
Jose,
it out.
we can't hear you.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you for letting me know.
I can hear. Continue.
Okay. So one thing is like liquidity, like price can go up for our token, but not necessarily will will we be able to cash out like the totality of tokens, or maybe the price will get affected more delicately even if the token price goes up to $1. So I guess liquidity is something we really want to be paying attention to. If we're gonna be right, I guess it's in the best interest of everybody. And then the other thing I wanted to bring to the conversation is I've already brought it up in the past. I'm just gonna submit a proposal, but like I feel like compensation, like for activities, it wouldn't affect our liquidity as much if we paid out in a separate coin, right? And it also wouldn't dilute like our governance tokens, or not even dilute them, but just concentrate them in the people that are early on, right? Pero that's just my 2 cents, guys. I'm here more so to listen today.
Yeah, thank you, Jose. On that note, I'm going to say yes. Let's keep the governance token as a token for just that, and deal with liquidity for other token, or build up a treasury with USD, Ethereum, or what have you, unless we want to make a separate token or something. And I'd definitely love to help with tokenomics down the road as well.
I would vote for using other existing tokens for treasury so that they can be off-ramped, to pay for drinks and pizza and other expenses in the fiat world.
Agreed. And maybe we can build that up with sponsorships. If we can find sponsors for the longevity, also for events, and maybe use that part for the current event, and then put part of it in the treasury to build up funds. Just thoughts.
Yeah, I have a recurring weekly event in Old San Juan. I wouldn't mind putting our DAO as a sponsor, and as a recurring, like a sponsor for all the events. And another idea I've been flirting with is hosting some type of fundraiser. I think actually PG mentioned something similar like this. We talked about it at the meetup chat, and yeah, like it would be interesting to see if we can tap into the existing community to see if there's anybody who's willing to support our cause.
I think what we need to do is define value propositions. What value propositions do we have to offer? And what value are we looking for and from who? I think that'll happen over time. But definitely community, where to go, and finding people to sponsor for the event.
Yeah, all good points. Definitely something to keep in mind as we go. I think the next step now is like, can we successfully execute a funding proposal? What does that look like? How is it? What are the actual mechanics of it? And then I guess we can kind of go from there and discuss like treasury management and, you know, how do we actually pay for things in the real world, you know, through a funding proposal? Does that sound good starting there? All right. So
yeah,
next.
Oh, go ahead, VG, or whoever that.
Jose?
What was that?
That whoever was, someone said something and it wasn't me. That sounds about where we're at.
And then also thinking about, we have enough tokens to kind of just onboard the next wave of airdrop recipients, like 100 Rico, just to kind of like get people in the door. And then I think from there we can start to say if we want to be doing membership dues / donations / NFT sales. Yeah.
Happy to help with NFT ideas. And definitely, I think the big thing right now is distribution, getting people, get small tranches out to people in the community. So we have other governance input, not just us. But let's start with us as a core.
In terms of the funding proposal, is there one submitted already? I saw that we had a proposal for a recurring event that had we were talking about that same proposal earlier, but this new funding proposal is one of us is going to submit, right?
Yeah, so I put down Antonio to create the recurring meeting links and create the funding proposal to reimburse him for that. Does that sound like a good?
Well, I'm not getting I'm getting rewarded, not reimbursed. However, I am currently paying I believe the $6 or $12 a month for the premium Google. But I'll eat that cost. I don't mind.
How many Rico tokens do you need? 1,000? What is a fair reward?
Yeah, maybe we can get Google to sponsor us. Yeah, never mind. But no, there's plenty. I mean, there's so much support and there's no shortage of resources on the island. So I think we're really progressing really nicely and happy to see how everything's organically growing. And yeah, I just think that the interest this year in DAOs is going to blow up, and hopefully we'll be ready to ride the wave.
Can I say something about the funding proposal?
Yes, you can say 2 things.
The funding proposal, like, wouldn't it be nice if our next funding proposal is a proposal to fund an airdrop, for an event, and then we can just start taking in, addresses, right, at these in-person events or wherever, however the proposal disposes of it.
Well, we would get, so whoever runs the airdrop campaign so the funding proposal would be, say, Jose, you want to do the airdrop campaign. So
right.
What you would do is potentially have the sign-up form to get everybody's email and wallet addresses. And then I think we would have to, Alex, maybe you can answer this question a little bit better, but how do we currently distribute tokens in a more automated way to a large list? And Jose, I know you mentioned like the Gnosis Safe has a place where you can upload like an Excel sheet. Is that kind of more of the plan?
I think that would be more so the plan, but I don't know if if we have a Genesis Safe. if the DAO has a Genesis safe. I think we don't.
Yeah, so I would say maybe not our first funding proposal, perhaps the second one though, because I'd really like to get a successful one just as like a trial, just to go through the motion, see how it works. And then from there we can say, okay, let's go big, let's go for an airdrop and really work out all the details. It may take a little bit of research, but definitely something we can do.
Alex, now that you can hear me, did you needed me to sign the covenant, right? Did you need me to do anything? Like, does the DAO need me to do anything else other than sign the covenant?
We just wanted to make sure everyone was able to onboard and sign the covenant and able to vote or create a proposal. So some of like the basic functionality.
So on that note, I tried to create a proposal and then it failed on me. So I'll figure that out in time.
Okay. I guess last thing, Antonio is going to send out a recurring meeting link. We agreed for Wednesdays at 2 p.m., at least for now, to start out with. And I think we're missing a few emails, like VG, we're missing your email. If you get added to the Google Doc so we can get you on the list. And Reuven, we're also missing Reuven, Lauren, and Bali. So I believe everyone else is listed there. So, but yeah, hopefully we can get that done, and then also the funding proposal going forward.
Yeah, and then we'll have that call on Monday with the tokenomics guy from OneHive, so we can maybe prepare some better questions and maybe plan out something a little bit more concrete with what to do for the next phase of the token plan / airdrop. And yeah, so we'll share this video is being recorded, so once it's downloaded, I'll upload it to YouTube, share it in the groups, and I think we can just keep on bringing in people one by one in the meantime, and then keep on getting feedback and getting like a better process flow for the onboarding and go from there.
Sounds good. I'm also wondering, we have a bunch of people like in the Ethereum WhatsApp group, and I know you've had meetings and stuff. Maybe reach out to those people in a way to distribute tokens, because you already have people in the ETHR groups, just as another idea. Again, it depends how to do that in education and everything. We want to make sure they're able to vote. So maybe we'll do it a little in person as we educate people.
Good. Anything else? I think we covered everything that we needed to.
Okay, well, with that, thanks everybody. We, like I said, I'll upload this video and plan to see everybody next Wednesday.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone. See you next Wednesday.
Have a good day.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.